How you doing, folks? My name is Jesse. Vlog entry number 10, December 4th. December 4th. What am I working on? Well, as you can tell by the video clip, I'm working on some Bender stuff. Boy, this is a learning process, I tell you. You can't listen to Marty Stewart or Cousin Kenny Vaughn play on a Bender and not think to yourself, man, I'd love to try and do that. But Benders aren't cheap. And so navigating that, especially if you're not sure if that's going to be your thing or not, is kind of a challenge. So I took the dive. I got a Will Ray Hipshot Bender, the Hella Bender. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk about learning how to use it. The clip that I played for you took me the better part of a week to get down to that level. And it's probably 85-90% of where it should be. But at some point I just had to say, look, you know, no mas, I give up. It's going to have to go as is. And I wasn't unhappy with it, so I thought, cool, let's run with it. Forethought is really important. I struggle to improvise as it is. To improvise with a Bender is really challenging because you just can't, it's not like a wang bar where you just grab it and see what happens. That D sharp might not work, whatever it is you're doing. So I've had to think of it in terms of chords. Now I'm going to leave some links in the video to some videos that are really helpful in figuring out how to use a Bender. And all Benders, regardless of how the mechanism works, still take you from a B to a C sharp. So they should apply. So I've had to think of it in terms of chords and how to get what can I do when it's engaged. So instead of playing an A, I've had to do like an A sus2, because then you can bend up to the third, right? In this position, you can do that. It works. And I can't tell you what all these forms are, but my ear tells me they're good. If I take a D7, I can bend it up to a D. If I take a B minor, I can bend it up to an E7, and then you get, right? If I take a D major, if I take a D major, it bends up to a B minor. Which is kind of handy to think about. So what I've been trying to do, because there are a couple issues. One, what happens when you pull the lever? Is it going to be a note you like or a note that you don't like? I just watched the Rick Beato interview with Skunk Baxter, and he loves pedal steel, and one of the reasons why he loves pedal steel is because he describes it as like three-dimensional chess. You pull one lever, you hit one pedal, and all of a sudden everything radically changes. And being able to think along those lines takes a real skill, right? So there's that, and then there's also the issue of, it's the same motion. Like, how many different ways can you manipulate that, right? So one of the things that I've been trying to do is engage the bar and then try and play something, so like, like, what can I do, and then when can I drop the bar out at a moment that people might not expect? So that's what I've been working on. Now, what have I been working on it with? I've been working on it with my Squier Affinity Tele. I got this a couple of years ago. It was an impulse purchase. I bought it at Campbell's Music a couple of years ago. It was a Saturday, and I could hang out with Bob and talk to him, which if you get a chance to hang out with Bob Campbell on a Saturday at Campbell's Music, take advantage of it. Bob's just a cool dude. He's really funny. He's really erudite. He knows a lot about a lot of different things. And you know, when he was an older teenager working at his dad's store there, I was a young teenager taking guitar lessons there. And anything he told me, I took for gospel. And so I learned about a lot of stuff. I learned about Joy Division. I learned about Frank Zappa. I learned about Ibanez Road Stars. So I was hanging out, and I saw the race red Squier, and I picked it up. I didn't have a Tele at the time, and I said, I wonder. And I started playing it. I was like, you ever play a guitar and the guitar just said, "Take me home"? That was this. And I just went, I got it. So I did. And it was really interesting because that night my wife and I were going to a party. A friend of mine's son was graduating from high school, and he said, "Bring your guitar. We're going to have a jam." And I was like, cool. So I threw this in the back with a cable and my pig nose because I thought we were going to have a guitar pull. I showed up. It was not a guitar pull. They had a PA. They had drums. They had a bass player. Well, the guy was a bass player, is a bass player. And I was like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? And then I remembered that in the back of the pig nose is a preamp out. So I borrowed a cable from somebody and ran it out of there into the desk, and it sounded amazing. It just sounded so good. I was stunned at how good it sounded. In all the positions, like the... real dark in the neck position, real, spanky in the bridge position, and then, like in that middle position, Tele sound. And that's the test. You can make any guitar sound good with Buckaroo. That's the one you take home. So I said, well, I guess it's going to be a keeper. At the same time, it's an Affinity Squier Tele, and so when the bug hit me to get a Hipshot tuner, this was the one to do it. And really, it's an ideal one to use, an ideal model to use. The body is just thick enough, right, to cover it. It's top loading, and so the B string threads right through. They give you a tube to run it through to help with friction, but I opted not to do it just because I figured the tube would fall out or something like that. I put some lithium grease on the bridge and some lithium grease at the nut. It seems to be going all right. So, like I said, the links to in the video, the links in the description that I left for you are helpful. I got Will Ray's Bender Mania. I bought it from Will actually on eBay. If you've got a working DVD player, it's really helpful. Now, the one caveat about this is the bar, well, obviously sitting with it is a challenge, but the other issue is this thumb screw that's supposed to hold the bar in place doesn't do a great job, right? In fact, Will Ray has been posting videos to a channel called Guitar Gavel, and if you look at some of them, I think he's got a Harley Benton Tele, and he's got like a binder clip holding it in place. It didn't work for me, but I have a friend who's a tech teacher, and I was talking to him about it. He's not a musician, but he was fascinated by the mechanism, and I said, "Look, dude, this is falling apart. What can you do for me?" And he made this little red cap for me. He CNC, or he CAD drew it, and then he 3D printed it for me. Kevin did it. I told him my problem at 7:15 in the morning, and by 8:30, he had this together. And he goes, your guitar's red, so I made it red too so that it would match. Like, that's how good of a dude Kevin is. Kevin, I don't know if you're ever going to see this video, but if you do, I still got it, and I still appreciate you, man. So, that leads me to this question. How good of a guitar do you need? Right? I paid $190 for this. Retail. Now, are there plenty of other Teles that sound better? Of course there are. But there was such a confidence in this tone. It was unapologetic. It is, I know what I am, and I'm still good. So, how good does it have to be? It makes me think of a chapter in a book that I read back in the 90s called Everything I Ever Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten by Robert Fulghum. And in it, he talked about when he was a young man working as a cowboy out west. And he said there was this bar that every Friday night he and his buddies went to, and it was run by a husband and wife team. And there was a pool table there. And the husband and wife team apparently were pool sharks. And they would take the cowboys for their money all the time. And one day the cowboys were like, "That's it, we're done. We give up. We're not playing you anymore." And they said, "Look, we'll go double or nothing. You can play using cue sticks, and we'll use that shovel handle that's been sitting over in the corner." Well, the cowboy said, "That's a no-brainer. Of course we'll take advantage of that." And it turns out that the couple shot even better with the shovel handle than they did with the cue sticks. Turns out that's what they used to practice with. Because anybody can get good shooting pool with a cue stick, but how many people can get good shooting pool with a shovel handle? So the question becomes, is it the tool or is it the player? And more, I think it's the player and not the tool. Which is why I better keep practicing. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. My name's Jesse. I'll talk to you later.